Hi everybody, Matt Geary for Geek Pride here, and this is my review of the Denis gaming table by GeeknSon. So, here it is, the top of the Denis gaming table by GeeknSon. It is a nice white color because it goes with my man cave, and it's nice and solid and pretty. Now, for all of you who have seen the streams, seen us playing games, you'll know what this is all about. So you'll know what it is. For all of you who haven't though, and you're maybe picking this up on YouTube, or you're looking for a gaming table and this has just popped up on a video or something, then you're in for a treat. Because, you know, what is the facade, the outward look of this table is but the iceberg tip of what it really is. This has layers. This is like an onion. This is the onion night of tables. This is the one ring to rule them all of tables. This is the table that rules all the tables. And I'm going to show you why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up off my comfy chair and move around the side here. So now, first up, you have what literally looks like a basic table here. You have nice hard wood, and you have a normal dining table. So you can sit here, your kids can do their homework, you can eat off it, you know, you could have a party, put stuff down on the party stuff, you know, whatever you want. You can do whatever you want on this table. It's very sturdy, very nice. But this is where the trick comes in. Now, there's a little lever underneath here. You won't be able to see it yet, though I may put a superimposed thing over it so you can. But if I do this, or sorry, if I get around here and do this, you push this up. The slats come off. Woo, and there's stuff underneath it. Right, so, well, I'm just going to carry on taking these slats off. So, I'm going to do this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few of these slats off. That's time being. Oh, they're quite heavy. Actually, I'm not sure if you can see this or not. I'll see if you can see it. So basically, this black, you can see this in here. This is rubber. This is rubber. So this basically gives it a seal. So you can see this little groove on here. So it basically means that it goes into that, fits together nicely like a jigsaw puzzle, and it keeps it sort of sealed. So basically, if you spill water or wine or beer or whatever you're drinking, it's not going to seep into the table. It literally will just run down the sides. And there is some grooves here, but there's a thing underneath the table here where it sort of seeps out. I've tried it, it works, it's brilliant. Okay, the other thing is this as well. So just say, you know, your kids want to play some games, but you don't want to give up the whole table, or, you know, your other half wants to play some games, but you're doing some work or something, or you're eating. You can eat here, you can play games here, sorry, not play games, but you could play games here. You can eat here, or you can do your work here, and then they can play on here. And also the cool thing is, which you can't see because it's under there, roll some dice. Oh wait, magic! Well, not really, because it's got one of these things as well. So it's like a divider. So there you go. Take that off as well. So that divider is just there for that purpose. It divides the table up into two, So you can either have the slats on so things don't go underneath it, or if you're playing two different types of games, you know, one here, so your dice aren't going to, you know, knocking things over and stuff. Well, this is pretty cool. So let's move that off. All right, one of the other amazeballs things, I've got another D4 there. One of the other amazeballs things about this is you can get this, you know, this layer in, you know, you can have it in a velvet, or you can have it in, and I've seen it in green and in red, but you can also have stuff printed on it. Now the guys at GeeknSon, because they were kind enough to give us this table to have a look at, to, you know, review, they've given us one with their logo and our logo and stuff, and that's amazing. But that's not it. That's not just it. Underneath this layer, you get a Perspex layer. Now, for all of you who play Dungeons and Dragons and games like that, any game you wanted to play where there's a map involved and you need to draw things on it, this is what you need to do. So you get this little thing here, and you pull it down, and then you can pull the Perspex layer up. Obviously that's leaning on it, so I can't. But this is where you put the maps, and you can draw on it. So I've got one of these little markers. So map equals awesome. Woohoo! There you go. And then just rub it off. Job done. There we go. Alright, let's put the pen down and let's get this back on it. Now, I have to be very careful of this. We will put this back. And down it goes. So, there we go. That is the other layer. Now, there's also something cool you can do this. If you have, if I'll get it over here actually, there's one thing we tried. You know, it's not obviously something that GeeknSon give you, but obviously if you got one of the, if you got a green thing like this, you could use it. We green screened it. So when we were doing our last, Dungeons and Dragons stream, we green screened it. So we put the green thing down, we tucked it underneath the edges of this, and then we superimposed a map over it, and it looks pretty awesome for streaming. So there you go. Now, that's not what all this has. There's one more thing that this does, which is amazing. And it's this. Woo! Oh, turn it off. There we go. It lights up. And everything with LEDs is better. As we have fully established in many podcasts, in many streams, anything with LEDs is better. And there you go. That's it. This amazeballs table that lights up, has 3 layers for all your gaming needs. It's amazing. Now, I don't really know what I could do if I was to improve. So I was thinking about this. I was saying, okay, as a review, I need to think about the sort of the pros and the cons. And, you know, I love this thing, so I love this table. I'm trying to think of, you know, is there anything bad about it? And I couldn't really think a lot that was bad about it. I guess one improvement maybe I would think of is that obviously there is a power supply that comes from this for the lights to work. So the lights don't work on their own. So you need a power supply. Now, obviously, if there's a power supply, that's a lead, and the lead has to go to the mains, and that's potentially a tripping hazard. Now, not a massive issue because you can duct tape it down, or you can hide the lead and things like that. But I think it might be a good idea to have maybe a battery pack. You know, so basically where the input is, where the kettle lead goes into the table itself. And by the way, you can take the kettle lead out, so it it can be a normal table, but if you want the lights to work, you've got to put the kettle lead in. Maybe have your own little battery pack of sorts in there, so it's there. Now, obviously, it won't last as long, but it might be a bit more friendly wires wise. You know, this room has got a bazillion wires in it, so it doesn't really matter. But obviously, if people don't want loads of wires around the house, that might help. And one more thing, it's not really sort of maybe for this table, because they've got different levels of tables, you know, for different expenses, you know, if you know, depending on how much you can afford and things. I think it would be awesome to have a table like this. So taking the idea of the green screen that we talked about earlier, but you had like a touch screen thing in here. So like, just think this whole thing here was a screen. Now, I think, you know, in Japan and stuff, they've got this, or in Korea, they've got this new sort of flexi stuff that you can put on like walls and things that's really super thin, and it's touchscreen. So if you could have something like that in this, so you're playing your games and you're effectively, you know, you put a model down or something and it reacts with it, or, you know, you can draw things on it with your finger and stuff. That would be super amazing. That would be good. That would be really good. Probably expensive, but hey, worth it. So if you're going to buy a table, buy a good table. And I have to say, now this one here is about, I don't know, 1,000. I think it's about £1,400, £1,300, something along those lines. I will put up the exact price for you on the screen. But I paid about £1,000 for my table in the doors, with the chairs and everything, and it doesn't do this sort of thing. It doesn't do any of this. I've got another table. It was about £600, and it's just a flimsy piece of shit, to be honest. So yeah, had I not sort of been able to borrow this and use it for our streams and stuff, I would probably have bought one anyway, to be honest. Simply because the multi-use of it, especially for a table, for a geek like me, this is a lot of uses. And so I'm very impressed. So impressed, in fact, that there's photographs of me hugging it when I got it, to my girlfriend's dismay, because she thinks I love the table more than I love her, which is not true. I love my girlfriend, but I do love this table. But yeah, really impressed. Can't really think of anything else I could sort of change. You know, that obviously you can't see here, but you can get specific tables that go with it, not tables, chairs that go with it. I have just chairs from indoors, so it's up to you if you want to buy some. Obviously that will increase the price itself, but you can get ones with covers on them. There's a really cool one at the GeeknSon headquarters, which is the Eye of Sauron, and they've got obviously the Eye of Sauron here, and that's pretty amazing. On top of this, you get sort of little accessories for the table. Now these are just the two. I got basically two of these and two of these. This is obviously to put dice and things in, so you know they're not on the table. You can put them in there. And this is for holding your drinks. They slot into the side of the table. Pretty sturdy, but they're designed to break if too much force is put on them, simply because you don't want to break the rest of your table by putting, you know, a lot of focus on them. So that's pretty cool. So you can just slide it in and it moves back and forth, which is pretty cool. We use one of the other ones to hold one of our mics, which is useful. But yeah, really good, really impressed by this table all in all. You know, there's a lot of tables out there, a lot of different companies, and you know, it makes me emotional thinking about it now, talking about it now. I love this table, and it's got so many options for me as a gamer, you know, person who streams games and things like that. You know, I can put the slats back on, and I can play some. I've got some mats over there, and I can put them on top, and I can play some 40k. I can do it here. I can play some board games like we've seen in the streams. I can green screen it. I can do all kinds of cool stuff. It's amazing. Such a good table. Diverse, multifaceted. You know, lots of little accessories you can get. Obviously, this is sort of a higher tier one. You can get sort of cheaper ones if you know you don't have the money. You can also get more expensive ones which play music, and they've got slide out drawers and things like that. But yeah, so you can check the website out for that. But all in all, an amazing table. I'm super lucky to have it. You know, I'm going to be very sad the day that I have to give it back, which I hope isn't going to be anytime soon. But yeah, I love this table, and I love the guys at GeeknSon for letting me sort of use it, because it's a beautiful thing. So by all means, if you want to check out their wares, please check out the GeeknSon YouTube channel or their website. They've also got Twitters, they've got Instagrams, they've got it all. They're on the Facebooks as well. So please check them out, check out their tables. There's one for every sort of budget. There's smaller ones, small tables, big tables, and they get bigger and they obviously get more expensive. But the quality, good quality tables, and very much worth the money you were going to pay for them. These things are not going to fall apart anytime soon. So yeah, there you go. Matt enjoyed, Geek Pride very much enjoyed, and go and buy one.